Buy bangles, buy bangles. You are so beautiful, and still you sell bangles. What can I do, sir? There is no one else at home to work. My father is very ill. His treatment also has to be paid for. You are so beautiful and so young. Will you do one thing for me? What kind of work, sir? Do I look like a bad girl to you? No, you look very nice. That's why I am giving you an offer. I have been very lonely and stressed these days. If you do this work for me, I will give you a lot of money in return. Your father's treatment will also be taken care of. What he said seemed reasonable. Selling bangles alone cannot manage everything. Look, don't think so much. This is for your own benefit. Come, sit in the car. Yes, sir? Yes. The head The head of the family was Akram Khan, an old and helpless father whose world had shrunk to an old cot. An accident in the fields had taken away the strength of his legs, and now he depended on others for every small and big need. His wife, Zara Akram, was the image of patience and love. All day she took care of her husband, gave him medicine, helped him sit, and listened to his pain all night. This had become her entire life. The biggest hope of this house was their daughter, Noreen, only 20 years old, yet carrying responsibilities far beyond her age. She went from house to house in the village selling bangles, and it was her earning that kept the kitchen fire burning. In the village lanes, people looked at her with strange eyes. Some passed comments, some tried to block her way, but Noreen had learned to walk with her eyes lowered. She knew that if she became weak, all her parents' hopes would shatter. One evening, when she returned home tired, she saw that Akram Khan's condition had worsened. Difficulty in breathing, severe coughing, and helpless tears in Zara's eyes. The local healer clearly said that he must be taken to a big hospital in the city, and for that, a lot of money was needed. That night, Noreen kept turning in bed. Her mother's sobs and her father's pain were breaking her from inside. Again and again she prayed, "O Allah, show me a way. I cannot see my family suffering like this." The next morning, just as Noreen picked up the bag of bangles and stepped out of the house, a black luxury car stopped in front of her. A rich sheikh stepped out of the car, pride on his face and command in his voice. The sheikh looked at her from head to toe and said, "What do you sell?" Noreen replied softly, "Bangles." The sheikh took out a thick bundle of currency notes, put it in her hand and said, "Listen to me. You will earn even more than this. Take this address. Come to the mansion tomorrow. You will get a big job there." Noreen's steps began to shake. So much money she had never seen together in her life. On one side were her father's breaths, and on the other side, an unknown path. She stood on the road holding the money in both hands, and in that very moment, the direction of her life changed. That night, Noreen could not sleep. Outside the hut, there was complete silence, but inside her heart, a deep darkness had spread. Every cough of Akram Khan felt like a hammer on her heart, and Zara's sobs made her restless from within. Again and again Noreen prayed, "O Allah, show me a way. I cannot see my parents suffering like this. I am ready to pay any price. Just free them from this pain." Perhaps her prayer had been heard, or perhaps fate had written a different path for her. The next morning, with a heavy heart, Noreen picked up her bag of bangles and left the house. She did not feel like going to work, but she knew that the kitchen fire burned only with her earnings. She was leaving the village and heading toward the nearby town. The road was deserted. Dust was flying, and the sun felt like it was raining fire. Suddenly, an expensive black car stopped behind her. No one had ever seen such a car in that area. Even on the dusty road, its shine hurt the eyes. Noreen, frightened, moved to the side. The car window rolled down and a firm voice was heard. "Girl, listen for a moment." Noreen hesitantly turned back. Inside the car sat a middle-aged man, Arab-style clothes, black sunglasses, and a strange smile on his face. Noreen's heart began to beat fast. The sheikh got out of the car. His height, clothes, and manner made it seem as if he came from another world. He looked at Noreen from head to toe and asked, "What do you sell?"
Yes, Noreen said in a soft, trembling voice. Bangles. Without even looking at her bag, the sheikh said, I want to give you a job that will change your life. Noreen was startled. What kind of job, sir? The sheikh smiled. Will you work with me in the city? In a big mansion, you will earn so much money that you can keep your whole family comfortable. At once, the image of her sick father flashed through Noreen's mind. Hearing the word money, a small ray of hope lit up in her heart. She gathered courage and asked, What will the work be? The sheikh ignored the question. He took out a thick bundle of notes from his pocket and held it out to Noreen. This is an advance. Think about it. If you are ready, reach the address written on this card tomorrow morning. Noreen's hands began to tremble. She had never seen so much money at once. This amount was enough for Akram Khan's treatment. On one side, her conscience was stopping her. She was afraid to trust a stranger. On the other side, her parents' helplessness was forcing her. Finally, she took the money and the card. As he got into the car, the sheikh said, Remember, in life, such an opportunity comes only once. The car sped away, raising dust. Noreen remained standing on the road. In one hand, a bundle of money, and in the other, the address of an unknown future. She felt as if she had sold her soul, but to whom and at what price, even she did not know. When Noreen reached home and placed the bundle in Zara's hands, Zara's eyes widened in shock. Noreen, where did all this come from? You haven't done anything wrong, have you? There was more fear than happiness in her voice. Noreen lied. She said, Ami, I got a job in the city at a big businessman's house, taking care of his sick wife. When he heard about Abba's illness, he gave this advance. Hearing this, a wave of relief spread across Zara's face. Akram Khan, placing his hand on his daughter's head, said, My child, you have come to change our fate. May Allah always keep you happy. Hearing this from her father, Noreen's heart filled with guilt. She knew that the path she was taking had an unknown end. Even she did not know what awaited her. The next morning, Noreen hugged her mother and said goodbye. There were tears in Zara's eyes, but they were tears of hope. Noreen boarded the bus and left for the city. Watching the village disappear behind her, through the window, she felt as if she was leaving behind her identity, her innocence, everything. The address on the card was in the most elite area of the city. When she reached there, her steps stopped on their own. In front of her stood a huge marble mansion, tall walls, like a king's fort. The guards at the gate looked at her as if she were something insignificant, but after seeing the card, they let her go inside. As soon as she stepped in, Noreen was stunned. Green gardens, fountains, beautiful flowers from all over the world. Inside the mansion, high ceilings, heavy chandeliers, velvet curtains, expensive furniture, and such soft carpets on the floor that her feet were sinking into them. After a while, a middle-aged woman with a strict face came. I am the head caretaker of this house, Ms. D'Souza. Sheikh Sahib has told me about you. Come with me. She took Noreen to the servants' quarters and gave her a small but clean room. Handing her some good clothes, Ms. D'Souza said, From today, you will wear these. Remember some rules. Without permission, you must not go to any part of the mansion. You must not go into any restricted area. Do not talk too much to anyone. And most importantly, whatever you see or hear here must not go outside. Noreen silently nodded her head. She felt as if she had been locked inside a golden cage. Many days passed, but no real work was given. Just good food, good clothes, but no freedom, no permission to meet anyone, to talk, or to go anywhere. This silence and secrecy were eating her from inside. Every day she spoke to her mother on the phone and lied, saying everything was fine, that she was very happy. But inside, her heart was drowning in fear and loneliness. In the mansion, she often saw three sheikhs. The first was the same man who had met her in the village, Sheikh Aryan. He was the eldest brother, always serious and strict. The second was Sheikh Samar, younger than Aryan, with deep sadness on his face and silence in his nature, as if he was always lost in some inner sorrow. The third was the youngest brother, Sheikh Zaid, sharp-tempered, angry, and always shouting at the servants. Arrogance and impatience were clearly visible in his manner. All three brothers lived in the same mansion, but there was no warmth between them, as if they were three strangers living under the same roof. One night, Noreen could not sleep. She was standing by the window of her room, looking toward the garden, when she saw Sheikh Aryan and Sheikh Samar walking slowly and talking to each other. The wind was strong, so their voices were not clear, but a few words reached her ears. Father insists. That girl looks exactly like her. We cannot wait any longer. Noreen's heart trembled. Looks exactly like her? What did that mean? Was she brought here only because she looked like someone else? This thought made her even more afraid. The next day, she was called into Sheikh Aryan's luxurious study room. All three brothers were present. Noreen's heart was beating fast. She felt that today a big truth would be revealed. Taking a deep breath, Sheikh Aryan said, Noreen, we know you have been disturbed for many days, wondering why you were brought here. Today we will tell you the whole truth. He picked up a photograph from the table and handed it to Noreen. With trembling hands, she took it. In the picture was a girl who looked exactly like Noreen. The same big eyes, the same face, the same smile. For a moment, it felt as if she was looking at her own photo. Stunned, she asked, Who is this? In a low, sad voice, Sheikh Samar said, She was our sister, Liana. She died 2 years ago in a car accident. The youngest brother, Sheikh Zaid, said harshly, Her death broke our father. He has never recovered from that shock. He has been lying in bed, waiting for death. Then Sheikh Aryan said the words that made the ground slip beneath Noreen's feet. Our father's last wish is to see his daughter Liana once before he dies. Doctors say any big shock could take his life. So we cannot tell him that Liana is no longer in this world. He continued, We want you to meet our father pretending to be Liana for a few days. Talk to him. Take care of him, so that he can leave this world in peace. Noreen's ears started ringing. She stepped back, trembling with fear and shock. No, this is a lie. I can't do this, she almost shouted. Sheikh Aryan said gently, This is not a lie. This is a way to give final peace to a dying father. You just have to play the role of his daughter for a few days. Then he said the sentence that left Noreen numb. And in return, we will give you so much money that your next 7 generations will live comfortably. He added that if Noreen accepted this role, Akram Khan would be treated in the best hospital in the world. Before Noreen stood the hardest decision of her life. On one side, the burden of deceiving a dying man. On the other side, the hope of saving her own father's life. On one side, conscience. On the other, helplessness. She felt like vultures were circling over her, and she was a helpless prey. She started crying and said softly, I need some time to think. That night, Noreen cried uncontrollably in her room. What kind of deal was this? She had to wear someone else's identity, live a lie. But whenever she closed her eyes, she saw Akram Khan writhing in pain and Zara's helpless eyes. She asked herself, if one lie of mine can save my father's life and give a dying man his last happiness, Is it really a sin? By morning, she had made her decision. With a heavy heart, she accepted the role. The next few days were like training for Noreen. She was taught everything about Liana, her habits, the way she spoke, her childhood memories, likes and dislikes, even how she walked and smiled. She was made to wear Liana's clothes, which, surprisingly, fit her perfectly. Ms. D'Souza, who had earlier taken care of Liana, now helped Noreen. Every day when Noreen looked at herself in the mirror, she saw not her own face, but Liana's, as if she was losing her own identity and stepping into someone else's life. Finally, the day came when she was to meet the brother's father. Her heart felt like it would burst with fear. Sheikh Samar said softly, "Don't be afraid. Today you are Liana." Noreen was taken into a huge room. On a large bed lay a very weak old man, eyes closed, face full of wrinkles, and the strong smell of medicines in the air. With trembling lips, Noreen said, "Abba." That one word worked like magic. The old sheikh slowly opened his eyes. Suddenly, life sparkled in his dim eyes. A faint smile appeared. In a broken voice, he said, "Liana, my child, you have come." His voice turned into sobs as he stretched out his trembling hand. Noreen immediately held his hand. Tears flowed from the old man's eyes. "I thought I would die without seeing you." At that moment, all fear left Noreen's heart. The love in a broken father's eyes for his daughter was real and full of pain. Noreen also began to cry and hugged him tightly. Outside the room, the three brothers were watching. There was peace in Sheikh Aryan's and Sheikh Samar's eyes. But Sheikh Zaid's gaze was different. There was a strange spark in his eyes. He was thinking something else, something that would soon change Noreen's life completely. Sheikh Zaid was no longer seeing Noreen as his dead sister's replacement, but as a girl who had taken her place, and a new storm was rising in his heart. Now, Noreen spent every day with the old sheikh. She fed him with her own hands, gave him medicines, read books to him, and listened to him for hours. The sheikh told her stories of Liana's childhood, stories he once used to tell his real daughter. Noreen listened as if they were her own memories. Slowly, she began to find peace in this role. She started seeing her own father, Akram Khan, in the old sheikh. His love was so pure and true that many times Noreen forgot that she was only acting. The sheikh's health also began to improve. The man who had been waiting for death now talked and smiled with life in his eyes. Doctors were shocked and said it was not the miracle of medicine, but the miracle of happiness. Sheikh Aryan and Sheikh Samar were very happy to see this, and they began to respect Noreen as well. But Sheikh Zaid's behavior was becoming stranger day by day. He kept staring at Noreen. Sometimes he tried to talk to her, not as Liana, but as Noreen. He kept asking about her village, her family, her life. One day, when Noreen was walking in the garden, Zaid came to her and said, "You act very well. Sometimes I even feel you are not Liana." Noreen did not like this. She said firmly, "I am just doing my job." Zaid smiled. "Job? Or are you enjoying this life, this mansion, this comfort? It's much better than your village hut, isn't it?" Noreen's blood boiled. She said sternly, "In your eyes, maybe every person can be bought, but not in mine. I am here only because of compulsion. The day your purpose is fulfilled, I won't stay here for even a moment." Noreen's self-respect and confidence went straight into Zaid's heart. For the first time, a girl had spoken to him like this. Now Noreen was no longer just Liana's replacement for him. She had become a real, strong, and beautiful girl, one he wanted at any cost. Nearly 2 months passed. The old sheikh was much better now. With Noreen's support, he even started walking in the garden. One evening, when the sky was drowned in orange color, the Sheikh held Noreen's hand and said, "My child, now it is time for me to go. But I have no sorrow. Allah has fulfilled my last wish. I have got my liana back." Noreen's heart grew heavy. "Abba, why are you saying such things? You are fine. You are getting better." The Sheikh smiled, deep peace in his voice. "I know, my child. Now I am worry-free. There is no burden on my heart anymore." That very night, he quietly left this world in his sleep. There was a calm, peaceful smile on his face, like a traveler who had reached his destination. A deep silence fell over the mansion. After the Sheikh's death, Noreen's work was over. She felt as if a huge burden had been lifted from her head, but along with it, a strange emptiness settled in her heart. She was remembering that old father who had loved her even more than his own daughter. The next day, Sheikh Aryan called Noreen to his room. Placing a briefcase in front of her, he said, "Noreen, what you have done for us is something we can never repay. This amount is much more than what was promised. With this, Akram Khan will get the best treatment, and you can start your life anew." But Noreen immediately pushed the briefcase back. "I only want the amount that was decided. I did not do all this for money, but to fulfill a father's last wish." Seeing her honesty, Sheikh Aryan and Sheikh Samar were stunned. At that moment, Sheikh Zaid entered the room. He said to his brothers, "You both go outside. I want to talk to Noreen alone." As soon as they left, Zaid came closer to Noreen. "Noreen, I know that what happened was not right, but during these days I have started liking you. I want to marry you. You can become the queen of this mansion forever." This was another big shock for Noreen. The life that many girls dream of was lying at her feet, but Noreen knew very well that this too was a golden cage. She said gently but firmly, "Sheikh Zaid, I respect you, but I cannot marry you. My world is my parents and my village. I want to live as Noreen, not as Liana's shadow." For the first time, Zaid was hearing rejection from a girl. He felt angry, but seeing truth and confidence in Noreen's eyes, he fell silent. He could not say anything. Noreen returned to her village. She got Akram Khan treated at the biggest hospital in the city, and within a few months, he was back on his feet again. With the remaining money, Noreen built a small but strong house for her family and opened a bangle shop. Now she did not need to go door to door selling bangles. Her honesty and good behavior soon made her shop famous. She also gave jobs to some poor women of the village. Now she was no longer a helpless girl. She had become an independent, strong, and respected businesswoman. The villagers no longer looked at her with strange eyes, but with respect. Noreen had proven that a woman's beauty is not her weakness. If she has self-respect and courage, that same beauty becomes her greatest strength. Sometimes, in the evening, when she looked at the stars in the sky, she remembered that golden mansion, the place where, out of helplessness, she had once thought of selling her soul. But that deal did not break her. Instead, it made her so strong that now she needed no support at all. Noreen had learned that real wealth is not a palace or money, but respect, self-respect, and one's family. And this wealth she had earned with her own hard work.